we're going to take a look at two aged domains. Both of these are available over at ODYS. And the reason why I want to cover two domains in this feature for today is because they go together. This would be perfect if you have a homebrewing site or an alcohol related site. It would work perfectly. And the great part with ODYS, that's ODYS.global, is that they have well-branded domain names, and these have backlinks pointing to them. They are available right now, so you could go check them out. And if you join using my affiliate link, then you'll get a $100 credit. So I'm going to roll the features for each one of these two domains. Again, both beer related, right close to my heart. Okay. And that is brewapp.com. The cool thing is, well, they give me a lot of flexibility on what I cover and the domains that I want to cover. And if you've been paying attention the last few weeks, you know that I have been looking at these beer-oriented websites, of which there's quite a few of them. Now, the cool thing with this brewapp.com is how old it is. It is 24 years old. It was around since 1997. So that means if it was a person, it'd be able to drink. And the other thing is they have some of these screenshots here, and we'll actually take a little bit of a closer look over on the Wayback Machine over at the web archive just to see some of the snapshots. But you can see right here, there's some old school looking sites. This looks like GeoCities, or maybe they coded it by hand way back in the day. Again, 24 years old. Now, monetization angles, and this is one thing I can elaborate on quite a bit here. They mention that you could have DIY guides, talk about homemade beer, other fermented beverages, and monetize with ads. And yes, of course, I think that is the good move here. And I have some friends that actually have beer and homebrewing oriented websites. I've interviewed Matt Giovanisi, who has Brew Cabin. I interviewed Carl Steinmeier, who has, I think that one's Homebrew Academy. But in both cases, I think they could pick up this website and actually redirect it, maybe recreate some of the pages and go from there. The cool part is there are so many topics that you can cover. I recently judged a whole bunch of beers over at the National Homebrew Competition down in Louisville, which is in Boulder County. And people were into it. There were a few hundred people around that well, it was all very safe during these COVID times, but we all sat around and judged beer. People are into it. So the cool part is there's all these different informational topics. And in fact, I still, even though I'm an experienced home brewer, I look up different topics because I'm curious and interested, and I need to figure out how to brew a certain beer or get some historical information, that sort of thing. So there's tons of informational topics which you can monetize with display ads, of course. And then there's all the different affiliate programs that you could sign up for. Sure, the obvious Amazon, you could sign up for that. However, there's a lot of homebrew companies, homebrew supply shops that are huge online. I've ordered from a lot of them. More Beer, Northern Brewer, Midwest Brewing. There's dozens of others, but you could probably sign up as an affiliate for some of those companies or run display ads specifically for those companies. So tons of monetization angles, and I think it's it's a good domain. Let's take a look at some of the metrics here. There are links from a few news sites. We have New York Times, we have CBS Local, there's Groupon, Homestead, and the thing is, it's very, very tightly integrated with the homebrew community. So BYO, that is Brew Your Own Magazine, Homebrew Talk, that's a big forum. Northern Brewer, it's one of those websites that I mentioned before that is essentially, it's a brick and mortar shop up in, I think, Minneapolis area, Minnesota in general, in the Midwest, of course. And they already have a link from there. There's Beer Advocate and several other very prominent websites. It's so niche specific, which is awesome. Again, we have 1997 was the original date. And the other thing I'm going to point out and highlight is the SEO metrics. So the domain rating is only 19, which is lower than I would expect. However, as I pointed out before, it has niche specific links, which are most important in my opinion. And I interviewed Shauna Newman not too long ago from Skip Blast, and she mentioned the same thing. The relevancy of the links is one of the most important things. There are over 144 unique referring domains. And let's just quickly look at the Wayback Machine. So I popped it open over here. Like I mentioned, I mean, this is an old school looking site. This looks like one of my original websites that I first coded back in whatever 1997 or 98. So there are a lot of snapshots going way, way back. So sometimes it takes a second for this to load. So here's the first one. You got the white brick wall, frames or no frames, Netscape 3.0. And this is from October of 1998. So this site has been around and it's worth checking out. It is indexed on Google, which is one of those metrics. Of course, it's just a landing page, so there's nothing else specifically indexed on Google. It's just a landing page for now. But let me get a quick sip of beer here. Now it seems random, but the beer actually comes into play. I ran a couple quick filters. There's a lot of filtering mechanisms here, and I actually found something pretty cool over here called Brew Public with a K. So brewpublic with a K.com. And they kind of give you some tips about what you could do with it, but let's kind of hit some of the high points. So number one, the history of this domain is pretty nice. It was started in 2014, so 7 years old. And one of the filters I used is the number of links and the SEO metrics. So I was looking for a domain authority of something like over 25, around 30 or so. So we could see some of those pieces of information here. There are 91 or more referring domains, and some of these are pretty awesome. So they list the authority links here. We have Y Combinator, startups.com, Charlotte Observer, Charlotte5.com, Charlotte Agenda. I think it was based out of the North Carolina area, and there's quite a few pretty awesome links, bizjournals.com, uber.com, and so on. I did take a quick look at some of the keywords that it is ranking for. So I'm over on the domain, which there's just a little bit of kind of a landing page letting you know that you can acquire the domain through ODYS. So I'm checking some of the metrics using a browser extension with Mangools Tools, which is basically it's the KW Finder extension. It's actually ranking for beer delivery SF, beer delivery in San Francisco, Portland, Seattle. Now, some of these are not ranking like in the top 10 or anything, but it's interesting that they are ranking for, those terms at all. Now, the cool thing when you dig a little deeper, you'll discover originally this site was like a mail order situation where you could have beer delivered to you. So the description, as noted on ODYS, is this website featured a subscription service that involved selecting the beer of your choice, subscribing to a particular service tier or order package, and having your favorite beer delivered to you. So I think there's the same opportunity for something like a beer of the month club as far as monetization. Additionally, with a general brewpublic.com name, it's really brandable. And I actually interviewed someone who had a homebrew associated site not too long ago, Carl. You can go check out his interview. He's making about $5K a month, and it's through a combination of revenue sources. So there is a little bit from courses that he has partnered with experts in the industry to create courses. He has some from Amazon and some from display ads. And there's a few other affiliate programs that he's a part of. I think you could do the same sort of thing with this site. Again, Brew Public is anything with brew is going to be pretty brandable. You know it's about beer and you can lean on it. The cool thing is you might be able to get some other affiliate deals. So for example, if you are able to rank for beer delivery in certain cities, which the site's already ranking for some, you potentially could refer those people over to beer delivery or alcohol delivery companies in a specific area. I know here in the Boulder County area, you can order beer or alcohol or whatever you want, and they'll deliver it over here. So I know, well, back where I used to live in the South, in Atlanta, I'm pretty sure you couldn't get beer delivery. I think you can order weed around here. I mean, it's a little bit different here in Colorado. But the point is, the point is here, beer, home brewing, and all these sort of things could fit within this site. And you have several monetization strategies. So this domain is available right now over at ODYS, ODYS.global. You can join up and get a free $100 credit added to your account if you join through my affiliate link, which I do appreciate. And thanks a lot to ODYS for sponsoring this segment.